Good morning, afternoon, everyone. Again, welcome to another edition of Journey to Becoming a Head Coach. As always, I am your host, Coach Jeff Freeman. Thanks very much for joining me on this very long, interesting ride. This will probably be, again, I've been kind of staying this for the last few weeks as far as like the last kind of episode, and then I keep coming up with ideas as far as keeping it going. So, as you can see, this is season 2 review. We're going to go over what we've deemed the end of our season. We have fought until our last breath, and I think we're pretty much done. And I'm going to explain to you kind of what happened and all that stuff. And we're moving on to prep for season 3. At least my third season as a head football coach. I mean, first season you guys all saw what went down there. Now the second season, I mean, we never really happened. We worked our butt off. We fought, and I will explain basically what happened. And I know everyone's probably going to be, whoever sees this, especially since we're in California, they wait, why did you end up stopping, and or what kind of ended your season? There's a lot of things that ended it, a lot of different things that happened. So we're going to get right into it. Again, anything you like in this video, all I ask that you share it. If you get a little nugget or something, if you want to share it with somebody that you know is in the coaching community, that's all I ask, that you share it, and that you can share these experiences. And then also, if there's anything you want me to cover, or if there's anything every time you want to reach out, obviously you always got the comments below. Please, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So thank you very much for all the support. So here we go. Why did we move to off-season mode? The tier system obviously is the number one reason. You see down there, we had some stuff with some of the stats that Sports U put together, thanks to Coach Walsh down in Sarah and a few other coaches, and over the hundreds and thousands of research data and stuff that coaches have provided. I mean, that's the data we came up with some lockdown and its impact on student athletes. But honestly, what it came down to was the tier system. We're still in red in the county that we're at, and not in red. We're still in purple. So we're still a ways away. I mean, we're double the positivity rate, and we are, about 10 times the number per 100,000. So we're at like 41 per 100,000 and 15.5%. We got to get down to obviously under 5% and under 4.9 cases per 100,000. I don't know if it's going to happen. We're right in the middle of February. We go on a break. A lot of schools are going on vacation next week and the following week, and that seems to be when the spikes happen, is after that. Because again, all the data, depending on what you believe or what you not believe, it just seems to me, as a layman person who looks at this data, there always seems to be a spike after there's a vacation. So that just kind of tells you when people are out and about doing things drop. When people are left to their own devices and they're going and hanging out with people, all of a sudden the cases go up. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming to be a doctor. I don't want to get into the political or the medical ramifications of a debate. I'm just telling you what we did and why we made this decision. And it wasn't the staff. It was me along with our administration. We had been in constant contact and talks since we came back. So the tier system, I just don't know if we're going to get to orange. If we do get to orange and it's March or whatever, I don't know what kind of team we're going to have, because now we get into quarantining. So the CIF came out and said that, oh yeah, if you want to switch sports, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks before you can join the other team, because they changed the cohort definition to being you cohort with your team. So, and this literally just came out. Literally like last week, where it came out and they were just saying, okay, yeah, no, you can cohort with your own team, but now you got to quarantine for 2 weeks if you're going to switch teams. So if you're going to go from football to baseball, then you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. Or if you're going to go from baseball to track, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. So if you've been practicing with a team, now you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. And then the last one was the biggest one for us, players leaving. So I told you guys back in one of the previous videos, we had 107, 108 players. By the time December rolled around, when we had that first shutdown in California, like the second or third shutdown, we had dropped to about mid to low 90s. And then after that, I mean, we came back. We had, I think, want to say 60 when we came back. And then the last 3 weeks, we have dropped from 60 all the way down to literally last Tuesday, before that big rainstorm hit. We had literally 30 total. And then yesterday, we were dropped all the way down to probably right around maybe 27, 28 between two of our cohorts, because we've kind of separated in cohort A and cohort B. That's the entire program. borderline. We had like 8 or 9 freshmen, we had 10 or 12 sophomores, and then we had 9 to 10 varsity. So I mean, we don't even have enough really to complete a team. Really, I mean, we could complete a varsity team if we brought the sophomores up. We could complete a JV team if we brought the freshmen up. But even then, based on player and position, we really don't have any team at any level. So when that kind of came out, again, I talked with our admin last week, and we just kind of sat down. We're like, okay, well, what's really going on? We got players leaving left and right and I don't blame them. Selfishly, of course, I want them to finish with football. Who doesn't? Everyone wants their kids to finish with them. But I had no logical argument for me to tell them, be like, well, we're only going to play 1 or 2 games for football, so I'm going to go play baseball and get, 8, 9, 10 games. Or we're going to do track and get 9 or 10 or 11, 12 meets. I mean, football, I'm only guaranteed maybe 2 or 3 games, maybe max, maybe 5 in a best case scenario if we're able to jump up to Orange. But in our county, like I said, we're one of 3 high schools. So, I mean, you're talking 2 games, and then you got to schedule games outside your county lines, which you got to make sure they get to Orange. And then, it's kind of it's a catch-22 kind of thing. So it was a very dynamic situation, and kids just started between the players and the parents. I don't know who was really, instigating, and I'm saying instigate because I really don't have any other word for it. But they were all having their conversations, and they decided to, move on to another game, another team. So, and I told them, I was like, well, if we have a season, I don't know if we can really let you back on. And now, the biggest thing was the players leaving. That really put the nail in the coffin for us to move to off-season mode. I mean, we lost over 75% of our players from December till now. And just because, again, they saw the writing on the wall, and no matter what kind of motivations you can see it into that, they saw, 1 to 5 games for football. They saw double that everywhere else, especially since baseball, track, swimming, cross country, all those sports can operate in purple and in red. Baseball has to wait to red, obviously, but track, cross country, golf, all those sports that were able to start yesterday, they can start having games. They're ready to go. They can start having games, and it was funny because after we made the announcement yesterday that we were moving to off-season mode after this week, again the numbers dropped. Like I said, like yesterday, I think we had maybe 25, 28 total players. We had 9 show up for our cohort from 3 to 5:30. So it's just, everything just kind of dropped for us. So we're like, all right, well, I guess, that this is where we're going. This is the end of our season. So here we go. So we're moving into off season mode again. The tier system shot us in the foot. The players leaving is what really decided it. I mean, we were planning on keeping going. I put out a survey. People wanted us to keep going, but we just kept losing players. And primarily it was players didn't want to wait. They wanted to go play, which I get, I understand, and they were going to get more games. And there was no guarantee. I could not guarantee them a game. I just couldn't. They were like, well, can you guarantee us? When they use that word guarantee, and parents are using that word, and guardians and all stuff, they're using that word, hey, well, can you guarantee we're going to have a season? I couldn't. I just couldn't. I couldn't say, yes, we are, because if I did, then there would just be an uproar if we never got there, or if we got there and there was nobody to play. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the oncoming months. So, and then it's funny, yesterday I'm looking at, the CIF board host, and I'm getting emails from coach, hey, we want to play, we want to schedule you for March. It's like, I don't know how you can really schedule that, not knowing what's going to happen. I mean, I understand you're trying to do that. You want to do that. That's great. I probably would have been in the same boat, but we've been going since June. We literally took 2 months off. We took August off. We took December off. We've been going since June. We've been going hard, and we're now tailoring back while everyone else is ramping up. So maybe, looking back, I'll say maybe we should have done it the opposite way. But again, as you guys have seen in the journey, we were trying to install the new offense. We were trying to solidify the defense. And also, we were trying to provide an option for kids to get out, to get out of their house, get out of wherever they're at, and just forget about the quarantine and forget about COVID. So we've been coaching in the thick of things, towards where people were really kind of decided if COVID was really, that whole debate from June until now, was COVID really that bad, or is it really that bad? Well, again, no matter what you believe, that's not the place for this. I'm just saying we've been going through it in the thick of it since June. So, I mean, if I could have started, I would have started in May. That's just how I feel about it. But, and again, following all the protocol. I mean, you can see I got my little mask, and I know some of you are like, oh, neck gaiters don't work. But again, I don't really care. I'm not in for that debate. I wear my mask when I need to wear it. But again, it's just one of those things, why do we move the off-season mode, the tier system, and primarily the players leaving? And then when they saw that quarantine thing, I've had several parents and kids hit me up, hey, I'm going to stop showing practice so I can make sure I can go to baseball in 2 weeks, or I can go to track in 2 weeks. So all that combined just kind of shot us in the foot. What's next? Here's what's next for me. Here's what I'm already working on now. I'm collecting gear this week. We're taking team pictures Wednesday and Thursday. And then I'm going to recharge. I'm going to schedule for next year. I'm going to rebuild my staff. I'm going to fundraise like hell, because I'll explain to you what's going on with that. And then we're going to prepare for spring ball. We're going to keep working on our scheme. I'm working on a play calling system, because that was kind of the next step. We were really installing our basics for our new scheme and our new look, and what we're moving towards. But the one part I was struggling with was how was I going to call it? We have wristbands, we can do hand signals, but I'm moving towards something kind of fun and exciting. I mean, I'm stealing some stuff from some other coaches I've been talking to, and it's gonna be a fun time. I think we're gonna do, to be quite honest, we're gonna do some picture board stuff. We're gonna have some of them poster boards up with 4 pictures, and we're gonna try and do some tempo, but we're gonna be able to slow it down. I want to be able to do the 3 phases of tempo. I want to be able to huddle. I want to be able to get to the line and call stuff from the line and use our wristbands, and then I want to be able to go as fast as possible, where we raise up a board and we get going. So yeah, I really want to be able to do 3 different kinds of tempos for all that. So that's kind of what I'm moving towards right now. So so that's kind of the idea for spring ball, is to really work on our play calling system. So inventory, like I said, I'm collecting everything this week. I'm checking helmets, I'm checking on my uniforms, and I'm checking on the gear, making sure we're going to try and get some more helmets. I'm going to see if I can revamp some uniforms, not revamp, but just continue to stock our uniforms. We were 50 last year. If everybody comes back, we're looking at 60 players. If everybody came back just on the varsity, and we're looking at 30 players on the JV, the freshmen, JV, sophomores. So we're looking at 90 before I even bring the freshmen on. So we'll see about that. And then gear. Do we have enough knee pads? Again, the nice thing is we ordered everything, which I'll get to, but at the same time now it's like we got to re-inventory everything. So that's gonna be kind of an interesting trick. Recharge. I'm going to take, we got this week off coming up next week. I'm going to take some time to spend some time with my family and, focus on my wife and my daughter, and really just kind of sit back and recharge. Maybe we'll try to get out of town or just go for a drive or something. I don't know yet, but just kind of forget about football, because again, like I said, we've been going basically since June, and even then in those off months, I was still trying to scheme and plan, and we were trying to get stuff done as far as the PPE and the protocols and the temperature checks and all that stuff. So still trying to take care of it. So time to forget about football, just for a few days, a week. I know that everyone's like, well, you're just going to do it for a week. Well, it's like, well, yeah, because it's February. I got to turn around March, April, and then we're back in spring ball in May. So those 2 months, normally I'm in off-season mode and I'm doing stuff. December/January is normally my time to take time off, but obviously we didn't get that. So in any case, time to get away and forget about football. Schedule for next year. We already got our inter-squad scrimmage solidified. We already got that penciled in. Everyone's like, well, you sure that's going to happen? That was some of the jokes from some of my players. Like, well, you know that's going to happen. And some of those players are no longer with us, because they decided to, obviously, there were some of those ones that decided to quit and move on. And then our regular scrimmage. So we got our inter-squad scrimmage between ourselves scheduled. We got our regular scrimmage with 2 other teams already. That's already planned and ready to go and penciled in. Got to take care of our non-league. I got to see what's going on there. Make sure we got enough teams and we got the right teams. Again, I'm assuming, and I've reached out to my athletic director, I'm assuming the schedule we would have had for 2020, those 5 non-league games of Woodland, Wheatland, Oroville, Live Oak, and El Dorado. I assume that those games are still just going to basically now move to this fall, but I don't know for sure. And especially if people play in March, I don't know if they're going, oh, well, we're now just going to go ahead and also keep them for the fall. Like, I don't know. It's just going to be weird. And then our league should be our league, I assume. But again, with this whole county line thing, I don't know when they're going to say, okay, now you can play people on the other side of your county. Because we got 2 teams there's a county in between us. We got some teams in Sac County that we can't get to, technically, because Placer County is in between us. So I don't know if we're going to be able to play them. I assume we will be able to play them. And those 2 teams are usually late in our season. Like, they're going to be literally in the October time. So I assume by then, hopefully we'll be able to play teams on the other end. And then snack bar, we're trying to revamp and restructure our snack bar, trying to clean it up and get it looking a little bit, give it a new look, get it fresh, get it clean, add some shelving and some stuff like that in there. So that's on the schedule for us. Staff, invite, interview, fire, remove, all that stuff. I got some big changes in mind. Probably going to do something that some people might like, some people might not like. I've already talked to a few of the guys on staff, and we're going to do an old school thing that I've seen other teams do, and it's worked, where we coach the JV and the varsity. It's a very long style, but at the same time there's continuity, and that's kind of the one thing that's been missing from here in the 3 now going on 4 years that I've been here, is the continuity. Even when I was here and I was just an assistant and I just kind of seen things like the varsity was doing one thing, the JV was kind of doing it, but kind of not. It was just, there was not continuity. And even the last year, we were doing stuff at the varsity and our JV looked like they were kind of doing it, but then sometimes they were doing some things terminology wise didn't make sense. And the freshmen just kind of looked like they were just kind of doing, they had the formations and they had the one big play, but then other than that, they were just kind of doing their own little thing, kind of adding things and changing things. So at least this way, having just 2 groups, having a freshman, then having the JV and the varsity practice together, and just creates continuity and terminology and things like that. Everyone practices together. I know a lot of schools have done that. It does make for a long night when you're coaching 2 games back to back, but it is what it is. So that's kind of our goal. That's what I'm thinking of doing and switching to. So again, just trying to do what's best for what I think, what our staff needs and what our kids need, what our student athletes need, what the program needs, just for continuity's sake. Because again, I don't think they've had continuity in going on 5 years. They just haven't. It's just, I took over for a coach that, a really good guy, really nice guy. Not gonna say anything bad about him, but there was just not a lot of continuity between and the varsity, the JV, and the freshmen. There just wasn't. Whether that was his fault or not, couldn't tell you. So, and I'm not going to speculate, but I want to get rid of that and be like, no, this is what we're running. This is what the varsity runs. This is what the JV is going to run. This is what the freshmen are going to run. So, and we're going to progress and we're going to scaffold it up. So, building continuity. Finally, fundraise. We are in a hole, and that's because we didn't have a snack bar. So, back in February, March of 2020, before everything got shut down, we're like, okay, I need to order this, 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 and this. So I needed to order $30,000 worth of equipment between helmets, uniforms, tackling pads, all this stuff, footballs, cones, all this stuff, trying to get all this stuff solidified. And then, so we ordered it, knowing that I was sitting back, I was like, okay, we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Everything's going to be cool. And then March hit, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, everything shut down. So I said, okay, well, I don't know how our fundraisers are going to go, depending on how long this goes. So I had reached out to the company we were using, and I reached out to our rep, and they're like, no, everything's going to be fine. Just continue to make payments. We're good. And then all of a sudden, June and July, and they're still talking, we're not going to start a season. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. I was like, okay, well, pretty much everything's going the way I saw it. We're going to make, approximately 25,000 with our fundraisers, but without our snack bar, we're going to be short. So I just kept reaching out. I was like, we're going to be cool. We're going to be cool, right? You guys are going to work with us as long as we're going to get payments. And that's what they kept telling us. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to work with you as long as you make payments. We're fine. Well, then all of a sudden, December and January roll around, and it's, hey, you need to pay this bill. You need to pay this bill. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second here. It's like, you guys said as long as we made good faith payments, we were fine. Everyone's struggling with COVID. And to be honest, I don't know about anybody else in our program, but to my knowledge, at this school, we were pretty much the only program that have been fundraising and are still fundraising. I know some other athletic programs here just started in January and February, but we've been doing it since March of last year when we started with our popcorn fundraiser. So we have been fundraising for over a year. And the thing that I think that pisses me off the most is not the company pushing for their money. I get that. The part that pisses me off the most is that I budgeted correctly. If we would have had our snack bar, we'd be 5 to 10 grand positive. But instead, because we didn't have our snack bar, we are 10 grand negative. So we owe this one company $10,000. And it's primarily all the uniforms we ordered. That's the last thing we got to pay off. And they're just, they're calling my financial advisor, once a week. Hey, can you make a payment? Can you make a payment? So we're doing what we can. I mean, I created a Facebook fundraiser just to kind of try and raise a little extra funds. And thank you to all those that have donated. I truly do appreciate that. And I've sent personal thank yous to all of you. I mean, I threw the goal out there. I was like, whatever, let's just throw out 10 grand. I don't expect to make even half of that, to be quite honest. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out a bit, hey, whatever money I can make so I can just put it into the program and we could say, yeah, we raised this, and then we're going to start right back over again with our popcorn sale, and we're going to move into our BSN store sales. We're just going to move into everything and keep it rolling. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at. But yeah, we're 10 grand in the hole. We're fundraising. But here's the good news. I don't need to purchase the lot. that's the positive. We didn't use any of the uniforms. We didn't use any of the knee pads. We didn't use any of the mouthpieces. We didn't use anything, so I don't have to pay for anything that's been broken, damaged, or stolen. I don't have to recondition any helmets, which is actually, since at our school pays for the reconditioning. So I'm actually talking them into, which we agreed upon. We're going to try and go with a Zenith stack program so we can get 50 brand new helmets. So that's kind of a nice thing. We're working into that. And that's going to be nice because then we're going to have over 100 brand new helmets that are under 5 years old, which is like unheard of. We have, there's helmets that I've seen that probably should be retired at other schools. I mean, the fact that some schools still have old school Revos, the ones that came out in like 2005, 2006, those are definitely a decade plus old helmets. And I still see them on some kids. And I'm like, how are they allowed to wear that? But I get it. As long as they pass the test, you keep using it. So with that being said, that's going to get all of our kids into brand new, safe helmets, which would be fantastic. Other than that, I got nothing else. So to be quite honest, it's fundraiser. We're going to pay everything off. Then whatever we got left over, we're going to just spend it and get it taken care of and get things rocking and rolling. And hopefully we'll have a snack bar next year. And we can get things taken care of. So yeah, we're negative in the hole. Now, granted, I budgeted, and again, I was spot on last year with our budget, minus the snack bar fiasco. So if this year is anything like last year, then I should be spot on, and we should end up. I have us budgeted to end up with 11 grand positive if everything works out. So I'm hoping that works. I'm hoping we get that done and taken care of. So if you see that Facebook fundraiser, again, if you happen to see it either publicly on my, or if you happen to be one of my friends and you follow me on Facebook, if you can donate, fantastic. If not, please just share it with as many people as you can. Again, it's only going for 2 weeks. I'm shutting it down basically on Valentine's Day, and whatever's there, that's what we're taking, and that's what I'm taking over to the school and saying, here we go, here it is. Let's go ahead and mark this off, and let's make another payment and go from there. So again, just trying to do what I can for everybody and anybody. So and then lastly, we're gonna prepare. I wish we had a weight room that looks like this. Maybe in one of my presentations, I'll go over what our weight room looks like. It is let me just put it lightly. It's a disaster. And it's not anybody else's fault. To my knowledge, I'm not going to blame anybody, but it is in severe need of repair. As of right now, to my knowledge, and maybe, if someone reaches out to me when they see this video, they're like, no, Jeff, you're wrong, whatever. To my knowledge, there's no plans to revamp it. There's no plans to do anything with it. It does need some serious reconditioning and some serious upgrading. I won't go into too many details on it, but it is in some serious need of some help. So again, if you know somebody or if you work for a company that wants to do a weight room revamp and either work with us or do it as like a tax write-off kind of thing, I did hit up the Lift Life Foundation. It's through bodybuilding.com. I did hit them up trying to get them to, because they've been doing some weight room rebuilds for schools in need. So I've reached out to them to see if they'll consider us a qualifier, nominated our school. So I'll see if that comes through. That'd be fantastic if that comes through, because they use some things like from Arsenal, and Arsenal's an awesome piece of equipment. I've used some of their stuff. I love Arsenal strength equipment. It's fantastic. I've used Rogue. I enjoy Rogue. Rogue makes some fine equipment. But again, it's just one of those things of I just hope we can get something done. Right now we're in an outdoor weight room by the pool. And of course, it's like, well, you're by the pool, so we gotta be extremely careful. We're far enough away, but still, accidents tend to happen. But luckily, we've been doing that since June, and we have not had one incident. We haven't had one positive COVID test from our practices. No contact tracing is tracing anything back to our practices. So we've been doing something right. So again, prepare for this. Prepare for spring. We're going to scheme. We're going to make some adjustments. I'm going to make sure, like I said, I'm working on that play calling system. And I'm going to kind of do a combination of the picture boards, wristbands, and some hand signals. Going to kind of do a combination of the two. When I want to slow it down, probably use the wristbands, or even just kind of a no huddle look. And then when we want to speed it up, we're going to use that picture board, and we're going to get going. So that's going to be fun and exciting for us to try out. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So that's pretty much where we're at. So again, that's the reason why we went into off-season mode. Quite honestly, it was just the players and the parents and guardians and whoever, they pretty much made the decision for us. They started moving on, and our numbers dropped so drastically that we kind of had no other choice to say, hey, we're going to move into off-season mode. We're going to release all of our kids. We'll do pictures and collect equipment, and we're going to call it good. So Again, like, share, subscribe, share the info. Thank you so much for your support. Hope you all stay safe. Have a great day. Remember, be great, push limits, hold the line. Have a good day. Thank you so much.